Here is a sketch of a box of tissue. And now, for the purposes of this lesson, we'll look at a box of tissue that is yet to be opened. The box has 6 sides. Another name for the side of a box is a face. And now we've drawn some dotted lines to show the parts of the box that are not visible as we looked at it in the first place. There is a top, bottom, front, back, left side, and right side. All the faces are rectangles. The box has 8 corners. Each corner is called a vertex. We often label vertices with capital letters. And by the way, the most common way to do the plural of vertex is vertices. But now many dictionaries also accept the word vertexes as a plural for the word vertex. The line segments represent the edges of the box. This box has 12 edges. Line segments are labeled with 2 capital letters and a bar over the top. So let's label all of the edges. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 along the bottom of the box. 5, 6, 7, 8 for a total of 4 more, which are all the same length, and so that's why I've colored them green. And then the top 4 edges are shown. And there are all 12 edges of this box. We use 4 letters to label a face. That means that each face can be labeled many different ways. For example, let's look at the front face. Start with the letter A and go in either direction, but go around the perimeter of the face. So we could say A, B, G, H. If you start at A, you can go A, H, G, B, or A, B, G, H, but you can't cut across the diagonal and say A, then G. That would be an incorrect label for the front face. So you can see there are several other possible ways to label the front face, but in general, for any face, start at any letter, then go either clockwise or counterclockwise around the face. Other names for a box such as this one are rectangular solid, rectangular prism, and cuboid. This box has 3 dimensions: length, width, and height. And you'll notice we've colored the edges that are the length blue, the edges that are the width orange, and the edges which represent the height green. A box with all 6 faces the same is a cube. Each face of a cube is a square, and all 12 edges are the same length. When you look at this cube, does the front seem to be at the bottom left, or does the front seem to be at the top right? Well, let me color one of the faces gray, and I hope now that you agree the front is at the bottom left. But now let's paint another one gray, and the front appears to be at the top right. And let's go back and forth once or twice. So it just depends on how you look at it, what you see to be the front or the back. Well, here's how to draw a cube. Start with a square. Then a little bit behind it, as shown, draw another square and try to make both squares identical. And then just one at a time, connect the vertices. And I hope what you end up with is something that looks like a cube. And it's not actually a cube because we've drawn it on a flat surface, but it looks like a cube, and it's a representation for a cube. Now let's draw a box which is not a cube. So we pick a rectangle that has 2 different dimensions. It's a longer length than width. And then we draw an identical rectangle, and then once again, we connect as shown. And we now have 3 dimensions that perhaps all 3 are different. Another special type of rectangular solid is one with 2 dimensions the same and the 3rd dimension different from the first 2. So we'll try to draw a sketch of one of those. We start with a square, and so those are the 2 dimensions that are the same. Then we put the other square much farther back so that we're sure that when we connect, our 3rd dimension is a lot longer than the other 2. We could also connect it in a way that the 3rd dimension was much shorter than the other 2. But in this case, we have 2 dimensions that are the same. Probably would be the width and the height, and the length of this box is much longer than the width and the height. The front and the back are identical squares, and the other four sides are identical rectangles. In summary, other names for a box are a rectangular solid, rectangular prism, and cuboid. A box has 6 faces, 8 vertices, and 12 edges. Each face is a rectangle. Each vertex is a point. Each edge is a line segment. A cube is a box with all 6 faces the same.